Hello, Patriots, praying citizens, and truth seekers. Today is June 26th. It's Tuesday, and it's 11 o'clock Central Time, and Q has just bombed the board with a bunch of messages. So let's start with this one, number 1588. Coincidence. Review image and location. Nothing provided is random. Then San Francisco, or SFO, to JFK, A321 direct. Q. So what is that all about? Well, let's take a look at this article from the New York Post. Pilot mistakenly called in hijacking, plane forced back to JFK terminal. It was a JetBlue plane, and the pilot accidentally radioed in that his plane was being hijacked at JFK, triggering a massive response of cops and firefighters who surrounded the craft on the tarmac. The plane was bound for Los Angeles, but reported a problem with the radio and then inadvertently used the code for hijacking, law enforcement said. All right, it was cleared and there was no security threat, and it was expected to take off later Tuesday night. Well, was that really what happened? Let's take a look at some information from the board. So let me take you to this. Whoops, actually, this one. So here's this picture that supposedly came from Alexa Curtis, and I'm guessing this is, I don't know, Twitter or Instagram, and it says, "Incident, the JetBlue flight has been surrounded by police cars. Pictures from the scene show dozens of police cars on the runway with flashing lights around the flight. Department of Homeland Security and the FBI attended the scene. Armed guards were seen entering the plane to investigate the incident. The flight 1623 was due to travel to LAX. It departed the gate at 7:30 p.m. but never took off." So that is highly suspicious. Not really sure what happened there, but something happened. And Q had something to say about it. Then he posted this: "Signal sent. Attempt still made. Averted. Do you believe it's a coincidence extreme rhetoric is being pushed while at the same time Rod Rosenstein is on the brink of collapse? Define. Rod Rosenstein must either comply with all document demands or face impeachment. Two-way failure. If he complies, he fails because he implicates himself because he has a known conflict. If he fails to comply, he gets impeached or removed. Why no Department of Justice texts disclosed to the public? They've been asking and demanding for these things. Even the Congress has not been able to see them. All right, then he gives us some suggestions of how the texts went. So you have Rod Rosenstein texting Loretta Lynch, saying whatever he says here. And then Loretta Lynch texts H, which could be Hillary, could be Barack Obama, H as in Hussein, and the same amount of dots, so supposedly the same message. And then X texts X. So is this Hussein texting the person that he reports to? I mean, we don't know. And there's a longer message there. And then James Comey to Loretta Lynch, but it could be James Clapper, but probably Comey because Comey is under Loretta Lynch, 247 times. And he says this is relevant. Loretta Lynch is key to connecting to the White House, to Hillary, to Bill, to, this is probably John Brennan, head of the CIA, to James Clapper, to Samantha Power, to Eric Holder, and all these people were under Obama in various departments. Where are the JC to AM? So JC, probably James Comey to Andrew McCabe, who was under him at the FBI, text messages. Where are they? Where are the Gmail messages? Where are the burner phone messages? Where are the call polls? Coming soon to a theater near you. Then he says, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page texts are only scratching the surface. Threats of assassination? They are preparing for this by activating progressive activists. And we've seen that with Maxine Waters just, foaming at the mouth, telling people to go out and harass Republicans and threaten them. It's happening to several people within the administration. There was a video released today of activists threatening Elaine Chao, who is the head of the Department of Transportation and also married to Mitch McConnell. So it's just happening everywhere. I saw a recent report that Stephen Miller from the Trump administration is being harassed. So they are being activated. It is a red line. Once the documents are supplied and viewed by the Senate and congressional leaders and the public, they lose. Setup, scam, FISA, abuse of executive powers, illegal spying, frame. Insert assets, which we know they did into the Trump campaign. Prevent at all costs the presidency. Traitors all. They know, we know. But until the public knows, it is contained. The people have the power. Mainstream media will portray progressive activists as a larger part of the population. This is false. No possibility of compromise. Do not underestimate our resolve. We stand at the ready. Q. Okay, then the next set of posts, 1590 and 1591. The word fails, incorrectly spelled, and Anon says, what's up with that? Q says, error, long night. Then 1591, Seth Rich and Julian Assange in June, anything, question mark. At least I think that's Seth Rich, probably. Or it could be Susan Rice. Obviously, Seth Rich is dead, so Susan Rice and Julian Assange in June, anything. And Q says, Julian Assange in the news. Think James Comey. Server unlocks Seth Rich. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And actually, I took some notes on this one. So Comey personally killed the immunity deal with Julian Assange. The founder of WikiLeaks repeatedly said that his source for the Podesta emails was not a state actor. In other words, it wasn't Russia. A limited immunity deal was drafted last year. It could have freed Assange from the London embassy, where he's been exiled for a year. It's actually the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And it could have provided the FBI with information about who hacked or leaked John Podesta's emails. And that started before the election. And it was the key that gave us the ability to look at John Podesta as a pedophile and understand Pizzagate and the FBI's logos and symbols that they've compiled for pedophiles. And that helped us connect all the dots to John Podesta and other people as pedophiles. But Comey killed the deal. What happened was Assange's legal team approached the Justice Department to negotiate the deal. They wanted his freedom, at least for a while, in exchange for a massive amount of documents from the classified CIA computers, identifying sensitive assets and providing details of the agency's cyber weapons. But Comey nix the deal. Why would he do that? Why would he nix it? It's because he didn't want him to see what was in it. So the server that he could have had access to unlocks the murder of Seth Rich. And then MS-13, which is that hideous gang that murders and rapes and just destroys people and obliterates their bodies, annihilates them, getting into the country through our borders, and the deep state has been using them to conduct murders on behalf of the cabal. So we had Seth Rich was killed by two MS-13 gang members, and then they were killed nearby. And then Q says their phones unlock the command and control. In other words, you get control of their phones and you know who was in charge of everything and who commanded that Seth Rich be killed. And then he says ETA, which I've always understood as estimated time of arrival, and then he puts in parentheses estimated, so I'm not really sure about that. It has begun, Q. So we know that everything, if all of this stuff down here, all of these text messages and everything, they have it all. They have all of it. They have all the information. Then we get some pictures. So here we have this plane, and then we have this, which is kind of like a picture from the cockpit, black and white photo. It was said to maybe be a plane that Melania was flying, because it kind of looks like here's a female with hair. I don't know, could be her, but whatever. And they're looking at a United Airlines flight. So good question. Not really sure what that is. Okay, so that was that one. Thank you, United States Secret Service. Okay, then we'll go up to 1594, which is this article from the Daily Beast. Kurt Schilling backs pro-Trump QAnon conspiracy theory, and Q asks, why are we a threat to them? So here's the article. We have Kurt Schilling, baseball great, wearing a Make America Great Again hat. So he promoted a video on his Facebook page explaining QAnon. And then this Daily Beast article goes on to explain, of course, they think QAnon is absolutely a farce. Actually, they're calling it a Byzantine QAnon theory, which centers on anonymous clues about the real state of the world left on internet message boards by an unknown figure dubbed Q. So it totally makes fun of Q. But what happened is Schilling has been following Q, and he said, never really knew what it was all about. I had my ideas, but until recently I hadn't done anything. I started to research this about a month ago and was sent this today. You will not be able to stop watching once you start. And he's talking about a video, a Q video. So it's one that presents the Q theory from beginning to end. And of course, making fun of hooded figures in secret society meetings, the global cabal. All right. And then, anyway, it just keeps going on, ridiculing QAnon, talks about Pizzagate and celebrities. And then it says Schilling has frequently encountered political controversy since retiring from baseball, losing his job as an ESPN baseball analyst in 2016 after he mocked transgender people on Facebook. Okay, and they're saying now he joins the ranks of Roseanne Barr, celebrity QAnon promoters. Then we have 1595, desperate agencies do stupid things. Dead cat bounce. A dead cat bounce is a financial term, but it just means one last hurrah before the thing completely deflates and it's done. It's dead. So this is their dead cat bounce, their last little bounce of energy before they're done. You may have the site, but we have the source. And I was looking at the board, and I would agree with this. People believe that WikiLeaks has been co-opted. I mentioned this in a video a couple days ago. But we have the source, meaning WikiLeaks has been taken over by the deep state, but possibly Julian Assange is with Q. And then we'll go and look at this Twitter. So this is a tweet by WikiLeaks. Why is QAnon leading anti-establishment Trump voters to embrace regime change and neoconservatism? So I believe this is, so then that goes to this article. Pro-Trump conspiracy monger QAnon calls for regime change in Iran. Okay, again, ridiculing QAnon, ridiculing Trump, talking about the calm before the storm, ridiculing Sean Hannity, Roseanne Barr, Alex Jones, and let's see, I'll just pick this to read. The reality constructed by QAnon excuse me, has ultimately unfolded much like a fictitious spy novel, one that details a secret counter coup by the Trump administration against the so-called deep state that Trump, in reality, has dutifully served ever since winning the 2016 election. Anyway, despite QAnon's having been proven wrong repeatedly, its following remains large and the phenomenon itself remains influential. Okay, so again, we're ridiculing and then talking about this regime change in Iran. I just today did an hour-long video on this, and it's very interesting. But anyway, they're showing here some of Q's Iran posts and regime change coming. Q says, panic is good, panic is right. July 2018, the month the world discovered the truth. Conspiracy no more, time to feed. Q. And I think that just means feed the masses, give them the truth. Then we have this series of pictures. So lots of people trying to figure it out. It looks like there are some oil tankers in here. I don't know if you call them, whatever you call them, oil repositories. This is filthy water. I'm thinking this is not even the United States, or it could be just a very industry heavy site. Not sure about that. So we've got a couple pictures of planes and more of the sky, of the landscape from the sky. Again, not really sure what that is, and I was just recently on the board and a lot of people asking questions, no one having an answer. And then an Anon posted, need clues. And then Q says, access to cockpit, frame of shot, expand your thinking, Q. All right, and I think that that's all that he's given us so far. I want to take you to one other thing that Loretta Lynch, about her. Lynch evidence found, proof of her promising Clintons she won't let the investigation go too far. And this is from Diamond and Silk's website, but I have seen the same story all over the place. And basically, this might be the smoking gun against Loretta Lynch. So it's coming from columnist Paul Sperry, who wrote extensively about the FBI in columns published in the New York Post. He hinted that Inspector General Michael Horowitz could have solid grounds to show obstruction in the Clinton email case by Loretta Lynch. And it came out in the testimony last week that there was material implicating Lynch in possible obstruction of Hillary email case contained in classified section of his report, and then he will work with Congress to declassify it. And in 2017, Sperry described a document indicating that Lynch had assured Clinton's presidential campaign that she would make sure the FBI did not go too far in its investigation of the email case. So that's pretty damning. But I personally hope that stuff that's much more damning, like the video from Anthony Weiner's laptop of implicating Hillary and all that stuff is going to come out, and we won't even need this kind of obstruction that will be so far down the list of the sins that we won't even have to pay attention to it. So that was what I wanted to show you, and I think that there's not a whole lot. I don't know that he's going to post any more tonight. He might, and if he does, I will put that up in the morning. I want to go to bed soon. Thank you all for being with me, and I just want to pray, Father, for safety, for Q, for Trump, for everyone who's trying to work on the side of justice and righteousness. And I pray for the left to absolutely flip out, and for all people to just go unhinged like Maxine Waters. And I'm not even sure that that's a proper prayer. But Father, you know the evil that's in their heart. And I just pray that it would just show out so we could see, and even especially the people that are still on the fence about Trump, still on the fence about the left, they would just see how unhinged they are, and they would decide, Father, those that have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to understand the truth, that they cannot stand with the Democrats anymore, and they will walk away from the Democrat Party. Thank you, Father, for my audience, and thank you for all who are truth lovers, truth seekers, and I especially pray blessings on us, all of us, the rest of this week as we seek to honor you, to walk in righteousness, and to love the Lord Jesus. I thank you all. See you next time.